So in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about how sensory memory actually works in cognitive load theory. And to do that, I've got a little diagram and illustration which I'd like to show you. So let's get sensory memory on the one side. And now let's talk about the way that we actually work with sensory memory. Now, the first thing I want to point out is we've got 8 senses, not 5. Key one is vision. Then you've got the ear, auditory, then you've got smell, olfactory. Crucially, you've got tactile, especially if you're working in tvet. Then you've got taste, gustatory. You've got what's called vestibular, which is about how you balance and get a sense of your body as you move. And even more importantly, proprioception, which is how your limbs actually work and move. And then finally, interoception, which is about how you have a sense of your actual body and how it works. Now, in terms of these 8 senses, 2 are really absolutely vital. And the first one is vision, right? Now, I want to talk about vision in this case in combination with auditory, right? Because what we have is we have a situation where you can have what's called a dual processing setup. So if you've got working memory over here, here's your working memory. One of the fantastic things about working both visually and with auditory at the same time is you can actually increase your working memory, right? So if we put vision in blue and it comes through, I'll stream it on the top there. And what happens is, let's say you've got auditory and let's make it in purple. I'm putting it over there. You've got the same size working memory, but what's happening is you've got a dual channel. You're working with both vision and hearing at the same time, and that actually improves your working memory, so it's fantastic. Now, olfactory is not that important, except if you fart in the lecture or something like that, so we're not going to talk about that so much. But in the technical and vocational, occupational, professional space, this tactile story is absolutely vital. We've got to make sure that our students actually get a physical feeling for what's actually going on, that they can touch and experience and know the actual thing itself. So these kinds of practicals where the students get a physical awareness and use that as one of the senses that helps them learn is absolutely vital. Taste is not that important in terms of learning and teaching. And then we've got this thing called vestibular, right? And what that is a sense of balance and how your body actually works in space. And that's really got to do more with getting the learner or your student to get a sense of sitting in a quiet and balanced way in the classroom or the lecture room. But far more important for the technical and vocational side is this thing called proprioception. And what that is about a sense of how your body actually works in space. And you'll see this with really good people working, artisans and people who plumbers or technicians or electricians or working out with whatever bridges, etc., cars. You'll see that they've got a very strong sense of how their bodies actually work in the space. So it's a very important sense for your students to work with, but it really comes over time and it's developed on the job mostly. And then finally, we've got this thing called interoception, and it's kind of like the 8th sense. And what that's about is getting a sense of how your own body's working. And this is more about getting executive control over your learning states and your ability to study. It's paying attention to yourself. Is your heartbeat going too fast? Are you stressed? Are you feeling calm? And the more the students can actually get a sense of this, the more they can actually create the internal stress-free, balanced environment where their working memories can actually work to their fullest capacities because they know that their bodies are in a stable and balanced space. So these are the 8 senses which we work with in terms of shifting from the sensory space into the working memory space.